Hi, welcome. I'm with Peter Chilton, who is our mining expert, having worked for many years as a mining engineer around the world before his career in financial markets, which is in itself quite extensive. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you.
Okay, so I guess what we're going to focus on here is a few critical minerals, as well as gold and oil and gas. The first critical mineral we want to focus on is lithium. So lithium's the lightest on the periodic table, but it's literally come from nowhere into investor consciousness over the past decade. Why is that?
The main reason is it's got the characteristic of lithium is that it's got a very high energy intensity. So if you make it into a battery or something, you can store a lot of power for very little weight.
Yep.
And it's been found to be very flexible, making all sorts of battery types for all sorts of capacities, and just been the ideal material to use.
Yeah, so it's been driven by the electrification, if you will, of the world, which includes, electric vehicles and overall, batteries produced for both the home and for more industrial consumption.
That's right. I mean, obviously the decarbonisation of the world has been a driver.
Yep.
People have been seeking means of, storing power.
And is lithium obviously not the only means which can achieve this? There are other means, but is lithium the most efficient? Why is lithium better than other avenues for batteries?
It comes back to two things, really. One is the energy intensity.
Yeah.
Amount of power it can store.
Yeah.
And the other thing, it's very flexible. You can use it in motorised vehicles,
yep,
mobile vehicles, as well as storage, which is just stationary.
Okay. So we've been covering the sector for a while. We know many stocks, but here is a couple that we're on active coverage of.
Well, one we like is Pilbara Minerals. That's one of the early ones.
Yep.
In production, still expanding.
Yep.
Another one we like is Lithium Resources.
Yep.
Not yet in production, but very similar concept.
Okay.
Hard rock to Pilbara Minerals. And there's other ones like Lake Resources and Argosy as well, which are smaller, but in the lithium space.
Okay. So moving on in the resources sectors, we come to uranium. Uranium's also fast gaining traction on the investor radar, but unlike lithium, it's been around for decades. Why the sudden interest now?
Sudden interest is because you could have wind and you could have solar power, but these are intermittent. They're depending on whether the sun's shining or whether the wind is blowing.
Yeah.
People need power which is durable 24/7, and uranium or nuclear power provides that. And it's proven, it's been around for a long, long time.
Low carbon emitting.
And of course, it doesn't produce negligible carbon emissions.
And just some stocks quickly.
Well, recent ones to just enter production or just about to enter production listed here. Paladin,
Yep.
Boss Energy,
Yep.
and other ones which are sort of following behind. Lotus,
Yep. Bannerman.
Lotus and Bannerman. And then there's Silex, which
Silent Systems.
Silex Systems, which will be a producer, but also it's got conversion technology.
Yes, so there'll be a producer.
It will be a producer, yes. It will be a producer of uranium.
Enrique's uranium.
Because it will be actually processing uranium waste.
Yep. Okay.
So,
that's interesting.
that's part of the business model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on to the more traditional metal that investors have been interested in. So gold's been around for as long as anyone can remember, and even before then. So why should investors be interested in gold stocks?
The main reason is the fact that, well, there's two reasons really. One is that gold as a commodity is relatively stable. It's not volatile.
Yep.
So it's fairly dependent. If you invest in a gold stock, the gold price isn't going to collapse or something.
Yep.
And the second thing is you often get very good opportunities for buying growth companies, gold companies which are starting from scratch.
Yep.
With a new project or adding projects, growing their projects. So they're actually very good growth stocks.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got a few different gold stocks.
Well, I mean, we've got to look at it. I mean, Evolution's been a growth stock.
Yeah.
So is Northern Star.
Yeah.
So is Aurelius.
Yep.
Hator is
a few growth stocks.
It's a one mine company, but they're looking to expand. So
yep. So we'll see how they go. Much higher risk.
Yes.
Okay, moving to oil and gas. Like, these are really now two sectors. I mean, there are companies at the big end of town that do both oil and gas, but increasingly, we're getting into a more specialized age, and gas is gaining more interest overall. What's interesting in oil stocks, first up?
I think the thing is there are not many pure oil stocks.
Yeah.
Most oil stocks produce some gas as well.
Yeah.
Like a Woodside, for instance, or Santos.
They produce gas as well.
They produce gas as well. Whereas Karoon is primarily just an oil producer to produce a tiny bit of gas business.
And would you be more interested in an oil producer that focuses on oil than one that produces both?
I think at the moment the main focus is on gas.
Yeah.
Because people look at gas as a transition fuel.
Yeah.
I mean, oil is tending to be demonized a bit.
Yeah. So
people are looking to replace that with something else, whereas gas is seen as having a longer term future.
So the oil stocks, the big stocks that we cover, oil and gas, include Woodside, Santos and Karoon is more specialist. On the gas front, some of those stocks that we cover include Strike Energy, Cooper Energy, Comet Ridge. These are developers as well as producers.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yep. They're more small caps.
I mean,
There's no...
Yeah, small caps. You've got Strike on the west coast and the other two companies on the east coast.
Okay.
And in fact, both cases are getting your gas shortages.
Yeah.
In both cases, gas prices have gone up.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Peter. We've enjoyed talking to you on Under the Radar Report.
Pleasure.